It started with the sound of laughter. Too loud, too careless, erupting from my own living room. Christmas afternoon. Everyone was exchanging gifts. Glasses clinking, music pulsing through the walls. My friends and relatives moved around my house like it belonged to them. And there she was, my wife, leaning against the mantel, phone in hand, whispering to a stranger. His hand brushed her waist as if marking territory, and she didn't push him away. She smiled. Something inside me cracked. I kept my distance, watching, listening. A single phrase drifted through the air. After today, it's all yours. His reply was a smirk. That smirk haunted me before I knew what it meant. Then my phone buzzed. A photo appeared on the screen. My daughter-in-law screaming through text, "If you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes." I stared at the message. Not anger, not shock, just a slow, hollow realization. I was surrounded by people who believed I existed for their use. I typed back one word: enjoy. And as I walked toward the living room, the crowd parted. My wife and the man stood beside the Christmas tree, ornaments glittering like tiny fragments of broken trust. She held a copy of a contract. He placed his hand on her shoulder. "Surprise," she said. "We finally solved your problem." His voice was triumphant. "You've lost your house." The room went silent, waiting for me to break. I didn't. I just smiled. I had always known something was wrong with our marriage. The late-night messages she never explained, the sudden work trips, the locked phone, the new perfume she claimed she just found on sale. But the human mind can be a merciful liar. We tell ourselves pain is a misunderstanding, that betrayal is temporary, that the person we sleep beside is incapable of cold intention. Until intention stands in front of you wearing your wife's skin. She waved the contract in my face like a trophy. "I sold the house," she said, "to someone who actually values me." The man leaned forward and whispered, "For $1." The crowd gasped. Someone laughed. Someone else choked on their drink. I just felt still. Inside, a storm began to form. Slow, calculating. Not rage, not fear. Clarity. She believed she had finally won. That this house was the only thing I ever had. That taking it would destroy me. She pushed the contract into my hand. Her voice sharpened. "What's so funny?" I looked at her the way a surgeon studies a tumor. Clinical, detached. For a moment, I wondered when she had decided I was the weak one. When she convinced herself I wouldn't notice the hidden credit card charges, the forged signature, the secret bank withdrawals. When betrayal became routine. I said nothing. Behind my stillness was a truth I had carried in silence for months, a secret she never bothered to consider. She miscalculated. And the moment she signed those papers, she wrote her own downfall. For weeks, I had seen the signs. The intimate texts she tried to delete, the hotel receipts, the unfamiliar cologne on her clothes. Instead of confrontation, I documented everything, quietly, precisely. I learned her patterns, watched her lies evolve. I met with lawyers, accountants, investigators. I verified every detail. I remembered every insult she thought was harmless. "You're boring. You don't dream big. You just exist." But I never argued. I never begged. People mistake silence for defeat. They confuse calm with weakness. But silence is the most dangerous weapon. It gives you time to prepare. I discovered she had been planning this sale for months. She forged my signature, pretended to be my power of attorney. And her lover, the one smiling at my Christmas tree, helped her. They thought $1 was a victory. They believed ownership was physical. But a house is not just walls, it is the foundation built beneath them. And what she didn't know, the house was never mine to lose. Weeks earlier, I transferred ownership, legally, irrevocably, to someone she never bothered to acknowledge, my mother. The woman she constantly insulted, the woman she refused to invite to celebrations, the woman she said was beneath her. So when my daughter-in-law demanded I wash dishes to be accepted at Thanksgiving, I didn't argue. I simply boarded a plane to Switzerland. I bought a villa overlooking the Alps. Marble floors, glass walls, silence so clean it felt like justice. Every detail was intentional. I wanted distance, perspective. And while I stood in that living room watching her mockery unfold, that villa waited. She believed this house was my anchor. She didn't realize I had already cut myself free. I held the contract and looked her dead in the eye. You sold something you never owned. Her face twitched. What? I pulled out a folder. Thick, official, cold. The legal transfer documents, the deed, the notarized signatures. The crowd leaned closer, whispering. The lover's face collapsed first. My wife snatched the papers from my hand. She read the documents once, then again, faster, desperate. No, this can't. It's over, I said. The lawyer I had hired stepped forward from the dining room. The man didn't speak. He didn't have to. His presence was enough. Her voice broke into a whisper. You planned this? I nodded. I just waited for you to finish digging your grave. The room fell silent. My daughter-in-law called again. My phone buzzed with 71 missed calls. They had just seen the photos of the villa, and now they understood. The man they dismissed had already walked away from their world. My wife looked at me with panic, disbelief, and something I had never seen before, fear. I stepped closer. You sold the house for $1, I said quietly. So now you own $1. She trembled. You can't leave. You can't just... I cut her off. You spent years trying to control me, manipulate me, humiliate me. And for what? This? She reached for my arm. Please, we can fix this. I didn't mean. But you did. Every lie, every insult, every act of betrayal. I turned to her lover. You wanted my house? He swallowed hard. It's hers, he whispered. No, I replied. It belongs to the woman you always hated. And then, the final blow. I'm moving to Switzerland. She froze. You can't, I smiled. I already did. I walked past her, past the guests, past the tree glittering with fake warmth. Let them keep their parties, their gifts, their shreds of false affection. I owed them nothing. Outside, the cold air felt clean, honest. I heard her crying behind me, calling my name, begging, but I didn't turn around. People think revenge is loud, dramatic, violent. It isn't. Revenge is walking away while they drowned in the consequences they created. I didn't destroy her life, I just revealed it. Sometimes the most brutal punishment is letting someone face their own reflection without you there to soften it. As I drove to the airport, one thought settled into my chest. Freedom doesn't come from fighting. It comes from finally recognizing who was never worth the battle. I left them all behind, without regret, without hesitation, without looking back. Because the moment I walked away, I reclaimed everything they tried to take.